Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. It's Andy Brownell along with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on this Saturday morning to talk about the Rochester area and the real estate market. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. We got
Good.
Teased by spring and summer a week ago.
We know better.
Exactly. Although you did see the first barges start moving.
Oh, we
to
did.
The north.
We've seen a few go through. Yeah, and that's always a good sign.
It is. We're near the end, regardless of what kind of gloomy weather the Mother Nature might have given us for the past week.
The gray skies and the rain. You know, that's the hard part. I'd rather take those freezing cold days in the winter with the bright sunshine. It's just the gray skies get me. But we know there's lots of sunny days coming.
The grass is greening up already. Just a little bit.
And I think all weekend, even though it's not supposed to be very warm, we are supposed to see a lot of sunshine.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Summer will be here before we know it. I got to ask you about this because I saw a headline and it was about millennials buying homes. And I chuckled when I saw that because I think it was probably 10 years ago. All the predictions were, the millennials, this is the new generation. They're all going to want to live in these big apartment complexes with all the amenities and it will fit their lifestyle. And I remember talking to a planner and I said, well, what about when they get into their 30s and they start having families? Mm-hmm. And I said, you do realize they're going to want homes that's going to be, we see this as a long-term trend for this generation. They're different. And, well, from what I saw the headline, it's not really the case.
Well, you know what? First of all, thank you for staying up on your real estate. I know that was an article. I know exactly what we're speaking of. It was, I think, Thursday in the National Association of Realtors on their website. And the article was titled, Millennials Making Up Larger Share of Buyers. And to your point, I get really tired of the older generation having absolutely no faith in the younger generation because we have some pretty amazing young people in this world, and they're doing some pretty amazing things. And, you know, the millennials now are between 23 and 41 years old. So they're not even that young. I mean, 40. I mean, they're young compared to you and I, but, you know, I mean, they're not kids by any means.
They're my kids.
Yeah, and my kids. And there are a lot of successful, and maybe that's why I have such a passion for that age group, because I've seen my kids, I've seen how successful they've been, I've seen how successful their friends have been, I see how hardworking they are and how forward-thinking they are. I get very excited about their generation, to be honest with you. And yes, to your point, millennials are now comprising 43% of homeowners.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
That is the highest of any generation in the current market. And it's up quite a bit because last year, the millennials made up 37% of buyers, okay? So these folks, 23 to 41 years old, are the most likely generation to use the internet to find a home, right?
Sure.
And they will use a real estate agent. So another fallacy is, okay, these are the internet tech savvy, the realtors are going to go away. They're going to start using these online real estate companies. And nope, that is not true. Actually, I'm going to quote the article. It says, millennials, consumers between age of 23 to 41 years old, are the most likely generation to use the internet to find a home, and they ultimately purchase as well as the most likely to use a real estate agent, according to a new study released by the National Association of Realtors. So there you go. They're smart kids. I told you I think in these people.
And by just my perception, they seem to be buying homes at a younger age than our generation did.
You know, there's just more information out there. They understand that it is a great way to build equity. I mean, we've talked a lot the past few weeks about how much equity. Another article that I wanted to talk about today was that the average homeowner just in this past year has built $55,000 in equity in their home. So again, it is a bank account that they can live in.
That is an amazing number, is what that is.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
And if you look at the stock market, I think it's temporary, but we pretty much lost a year of gains because of the reaction to what's happened in Ukraine.
Yeah.
But our homes have not gone down at all.
No, they have not. And prior to the Ukraine, was COVID. And what a lot of young people, a lot of millennials did during COVID is they said, you know what, I don't really have to stay in Minneapolis in this expensive apartment because now I'm working from home, so I can move back to mom and dad's house. Doesn't bother me a bit to live there for free, save my money. And then now those folks are buying houses because they saved up a lot of money during the time that they moved back home.
And mom and dad are saying, okay, it's time.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those mom and dads are like me would be like, yeah, come on home for a while. I'd love it. Because you know what? A lot of the mom and dads aren't home that much either. So it's kind of like ships passing in the night. And I have actually had a lot of millennials move to their parents' house, and the parents are snowbirds. So they're like gone all winter.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's just it's a win-win. And they haven't had to pay the, crazy high. And it's mostly because I think they get lonely. If they're not going into their office to see people, it's better now. I'm just talking in the past, the last 2 years, right? If they weren't going into the office to see people and they had to just stay at home and work and they lived in an apartment by themselves and bars and restaurants were very limited, I mean, it got lonely. So I think that was even more than just the financial drive. I think people just wanted to be around people.
Yeah, family, especially during those times.
Of course.
And along the same lines, this is a brand new report that's from the demographer's office that more or less confirms what you said. During the pandemic, they saw the big cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota particularly, lose population. Mm-hmm. And they're predicting it's temporary, but I'm not so sure about that.
Right. Yeah, I know. I've heard the same. I've heard that it's, people will eventually migrate back, but it just depends on. I mean, I live in Reeds Landing, Minnesota, and life in the little tiny quiet Reeds Landing, Minnesota is pretty awesome. And yeah, I do drive an hour to come to Rochester, but it doesn't bother me a bit.
No, I mean, we've talked about this before. If you live in Maplewood or Minnetonka or Wayzata, and you live in or work in downtown Minneapolis, it's taking you 40 minutes to get there.
And guess what? In my job, all I do is drive. Anyway, so what difference does it make if I drive 45 minutes here and then get in my car and drive 4 hours all over town? I mean, it really does. It's a moot point. It really doesn't matter.
And for others, they can live in Reeds Landing or Wabasha or Lake City, and their internet connections allow them to continue doing whatever work it may be.
Exactly.
I know a young lady who is managing a company from her home. The company is based in Arizona, but the employees are spread all across the world.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
It's
cool.
crazy.
It's cool. So you want to know something about our generation?
Okay.
We're cheap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, according to this same article, baby boomers between the ages of 57 to 66 purchased homes at a median price of $301. And the only ones that went lower were those from 67 to 75. And of course, that's because of fixed income many times. And they had a median price of $295. But these youngins, these 23 to 31, they're buying houses at a median price of $315,000. So,
yeah, that's again, that doesn't surprise me.
Right, they're doers, they're movers, they're shakers. They're going to get it done,
and they're looking forward to future growth as well.
But the good news is, regardless of age, buyers from all generations are relying on real estate professionals for help. So, I actually have a listing coming up over in Lanesboro, and the owner sent me an email that she got from a friend in Lanesboro. Said, don't sign with a realtor. You can sell that house on your own. And she said, Robin, I know this might be a conflict of interest, but I know you'll be honest with me. I said, well, the actual fact is that in 2021, home sellers who used a realtor earned 11% more. They got 11% more for their home than those who did not. I'm going to tell you right now, it does not cost 11% to use a realtor. So they are coming out money ahead.
Yes.
So that's the fact.
And as you said, the millennials have already picked up on that.
Yeah.
And
Smart.
are doing it the right way.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, goodness, we have to take a break already.
Wow.
When we come back, we're going to meet the newest member of your team.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Really, really well known to you.
That's the darn truth. Nobody knows this kid better.
Okay. We'll talk with Brett Gwaltney when we come back after this quick break on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Are you worried about maintaining your lifestyle in retirement?
Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Good morning, everybody. And as promised, we're connected with the newest member of Gwaltney Group-RE Results and shares the same last name as Robin. Brett Gwaltney is with us this morning. Hi, Brett.
Hey, Andy, how's it going?
It's going well. Glad to have an opportunity to meet you.
Nice meeting you as well.
I've heard a lot. Maybe for those who haven't heard a lot, give us a little background on yourself and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, not a problem. So I'm a graduate of Grand Valley State University in 2012. I started my career in corporate finance with IBM in 2013.
Nice.
And I recently just left that gig December of last year, so 31st of 2021. And I jumped into the family business January 1 of 2022.
So you went out on your own and did a different thing, and I guess what brought you, I assume back, because I assume you're familiar with the family involved in real estate. What brought you back to real estate as your current and future career?
Yeah, so like you said, I've been around real estate for the past 20 plus years with my mom and dad being in the game. And there's always been a passion of mine. I just wanted to go and test the waters and do something a little different. But as the years went on, I realized that it was more in my blood than I thought. And I finally decided to make the jump.
So what do you find attractive? What is it about this real estate business that brought you back to it?
The most attractive thing is just helping people make the biggest investment of their life, and seeing the joy on their face when someone is able to own a home, a first-time home buyer, or, somebody that's able to get their dream home. All of those things are great.
So did it really help having that exposure with your mom to kind of get into the flow of things when you joined Gwaltney Group-RE Results?
Yes, and just her caring nature, it kind of rubbed off on me, and how she services her clients has been a big thing, and so I just kind of want to emulate that and keep the tradition going.
Sure. Have you stumbled upon or found a niche, I guess? I know you've only been at it a few months now. The type of buyer you really like to work with, I guess, is what I'm asking.
So any buyers, like I said, I mentioned first-time home buyers is one, just because of the joy it brings them and myself. But I mean, just being around real estate, like I said, for the past 20 years, I'll help anybody, right?
Sure.
Just any of my friends who are currently renting and making that jump to owning a property, investors looking for more opportunities for passive income. So all niches.
I bet that works out real well too, because you're kind of in that age group where a lot of people who have been renting for many years are finally waking up and discovering that, you know what, I could be paying this monthly fee and live and own the property I'm living in. Exactly.
Instead of kind of letting that money go out the window, you actually build in some equity. So, and that is true. I mean, I have a lot of friends that either have purchased homes in the last couple of years with my family, or are looking to purchase a home. So,
are you mainly focusing here in the Rochester area?
So the Rochester and the surrounding areas, so out to Dover, Yoda, Byron, even Owatonna. So all around southeastern Minnesota, I would be able to service.
Well, fantastic. So if somebody's listening today and they're interested in talking to you, Brett, if they're looking to sell or buy a home, is there a specific way to contact you?
Yeah, so you can go to Gwaltneygroup.com, and under agents, all my personal information is there, from my cell phone number to my office number and my email. So Brett at Gwaltneygroup.com is my email, and my phone number is 507-272-4019.
Well, fantastic. Great chatting with you, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Andy.
I enjoyed chatting with you. That's Brett Gwaltney, the newest member of Gwaltney Group-RE Results. We'll be back in just a moment talking more with Robin here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Hi, this is Randy Brock, and I'd like you to...
Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Robin Gwaltney back with us, Gwaltney Group-RE Results. And Robin, I know it was a couple months ago, and there was one concern you might have had about the real estate market, and that was will or will not folks who have this amount of equity start pulling it out through cash out. What is it? Cash out refinancings or something like that?
Yeah, cash out refis. So they refinance, but then take some of the equity out. That's what got us into a lot of trouble.
Right.
Back in 2008. So that's my biggest message I try to get out to people is use this home not just as your shelter, but as your bank account, your savings account, your building wealth. Yes, I mean, I just was listening to Brett tell you, his own friends, his age, here we go, those millennials know to buy investment properties, use them as rentals, use them as VRBOs. I mean, him and some of his friends have purchased properties to use as VRBOs, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, it's smart, and the equity builds, the average equity built last year, I just said, was $55,000 just year over year, so in 1 year. Well, if you keep it there, it's going to add up, and when it comes time for retirement or time to, need that money, it's going to be there. And the good news is that despite the increasing equity, fewer homeowners are taking out equity lines of credit.
That's great news.
It's really good news. In the fourth quarter of 2021, the HELOCs, or the home equity line of credits, were down 5.5% from the previous quarter, and down 4.2% from the level issued in the fourth quarter of 2020. So fewer people are depending on the equity in their homes. So that is music to my ears.
People are getting smarter.
Yes. And again, it's because there's information out there. And, I think that, again, COVID, we have to focus on some of the positive things that COVID did. People spent less money during COVID. They weren't running all over the country. They weren't taking all kinds of vacations. They weren't going out to eat as much. They weren't doing those things. And so that money went somewhere, and a lot of it was saved.
And you're talking about Brett and his friends buying these investment properties. The beauty of that is you're pulling in rent through those people coming in and staying in the home.
Yeah,
that's covering the actual mortgage, and you're basically getting the equity gain for free.
And even rental properties. I tell these young kids buying these homes that they're turning around and renting, don't worry about how much you're going to make each month. Just make sure you're making enough to cover all of your expenses, because then the equity is going to continue to build. You're just going to take money, collect it from the renter, pay it to the bank, collect it from the renter, pay it to the bank. That's okay, but you're building the equity. So while you collected that rent all last year and paid it to the bank, you earned on average $55,000 in equity sitting in that house. So it's not about, I have to make at least $1,000 profit, or I have to make at least $2,500 profit. You are making profit as long as, values are going up, and they are.
I know a person who's now retired that their entire retirement is funded through the things that you're talking about.
Yeah, a lot of
over
people.
30 years, they own multiple investment properties, and now it's all gravy.
Yes, exactly. And it is just a really solid way to build wealth. And I think this is why we're seeing the biggest portion of homeowners are millennials, because they're in tuned to this. They understand. Brett just told you he spent 9.5 years in the finance world. They get it. That's what they're focusing on, is numbers.
Yeah.
And they're so much more in tune to like their 401ks and their investment than I ever was at that age.
No, that's for sure. I have my own children. I can attest to that.
Yeah, at 32, at 32, I was worried about, now, do I have enough money for daycare, diapers, formula, gas? Honestly, so I'm just super proud of them.
When you work with these millennial generation buyers,
yes,
or even sellers, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Do you find them less emotional about the process than perhaps we are or were?
Absolutely. Just like when we got a job knowing that's where we were going to retire from, or at least believing it. When I left Mayo after 20 years, I was devastated. I thought, oh my gosh, I've spent 20 years here. I work at the best place in the whole wide world, and now I'm going to leave. Am I crazy? And these kids, they get a job. 3 years later, they hop to a different job. 3 years later, it's the norm. They are much less emotional about life-changing decisions than we were. No doubt about it.
But I will also, at least my limited experience, because I guess I'm basing it on my sphere of peers, they seem more attached to family than we were as well.
I always was. I was kind of a sucker for family. People say, how come you never left Minnesota? And the quick and easy answer is my parents. I couldn't. I would have never moved away. But
you and I are the same. That's why I'm still here.
Yeah. But as a whole, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Interesting.
Well, it's nice to find the silver lining in what's been a rough couple of years.
Right. And there's, glass let me say this again. Glass half full people like you and I do like to focus on the positive. And you know what? The truth be told, there has been plenty of, lots and lots of horrible things came out of COVID, but there's plenty of positive, and we can't change it. So what it is what it is. And hopefully we're moving on and, getting further and further from that pandemic.
I hope so too. Oh goodness. I am so looking forward to summer.
Oh my gosh, me too. People say, "Why, if you love summer so much, why don't you move away?" Well, this is the thing. I love the change of the seasons. I love looking forward to summer and not taking summer for granted.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think I've told you this before. One time I was in California and I was talking to the driver who was taking us from the airport to the hotel, and right away he detected our accent and, "Oh, you're from Minnesota," he says right away. And he kind of laughed, and yeah. And then we got talking about, of all things, Jesse Ventura.
Oh, gosh. Oh, please.
But he was asking about...
I think of Jesse every time I go to buy my license tabs. I will say that.
But he was lamenting the lack of change in Southern California. He'd lived there his whole life. He goes, "I'm bored with it." He goes, I really would like to move up to Minnesota and experience it.
It's awesome. It's amazing. Some will never know.
And now I lost my train of thought. Goodness gracious. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you.
What?
The match day we were talking about last week actually did happen a week ago Friday.
Yeah, it did.
So are you hearing from a lot of the incoming residents?
Yes. So after our show, I was actually out with an incoming resident who told me that match day had been Friday. So I knew it was Thursday or Friday. It's always right around St. Patrick's Day, but I wasn't just sure on exactly which day. So yes, we are, between me and the team, we're working with probably about a dozen residents. So yeah, we're working with quite a few of them.
So busy.
So I'll tell you what they have to choose from. Okay. 112 active listings. So the number's going down.
They're gobbling them up.
3 of those... They're gobbling them up. 3 of those are under 100,000. Probably not what they're looking for. 100 to 200 are 6. Now we're getting more into what they're looking for. Between 2 and 300, there are 24. Between 3 and 400, there are 15. So that's, 40 houses. By the end of the weekend, those will probably be gone.
You have a couple dozen buyers ready to go.
Right, exactly. And so does everybody else. So, there's buyers out there. So, yeah, market hasn't changed much in that aspect. There are houses, let's see, between 5 and 600,000, there are a dozen. Between 6 and 700,000, there are another dozen. Between 700 and 800, there are 10 more. Between 800 and 900, there are 3. Between 900 and $1 million, there are 5. And then over $1 million, there are 9. 9 houses over $1 million. Speaking of houses over $1 million, I want to thank you for that article that you wrote about Wild Rose Lane because it made the homeowner feel very good to get some of the truth out there. And I will tell you that we have interested parties, so we're making some great progress there, and people who are really excited about the house. So I hope to see that house be sold and completed and become the most beautiful house in Rochester, just like I talked about last week.
That would be a very happy ending.
Yes, it would be, and a happily deserved ending as well. So,
and
anyway,
looking at the pictures, I can see the vision of it.
Oh my gosh! Remind me to share with you the floor plans because you will be just wowed. Yeah, really amazing.
I don't know if it has enough garages for me though.
No, 6 isn't quite enough. There are people that it probably wouldn't be enough for, but anyway.
I saw a home for sale in Michigan that the home itself came with a car museum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm afraid to ask I didn't see what the asking price was.
That's crazy. So our market average right now is on the market for actives is $478,000, and the median active price is $398,000. Now, if we take that over to sold and closed, of the 28 houses that have, there's 963 that have sold and closed in the last 6 months, but I'm just looking at the last month.
Sure.
And the market average was 354. So, yeah, our market average, and people say, what's the average price point in your market? That number is definitely creeping up. And our average days on market is still right under 30. And when they say average days on market, it's a little bit deceiving because if the house goes on the market today and we accept an offer tomorrow and it's contingent upon an inspection and that inspection is done in 7 days, then that contingency gets removed. So sometimes it actually went under contract much sooner than that, but before it goes to the pending status.
Gotcha.
So that's where those numbers get a little bit
Okay, so in reality,
misleading.
it's probably quite a bit shorter than what that number is.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yep.
Well, Robin?
It's that time already?
It is time for you to share how we get a hold of you if you especially have a home you'd like to sell right now.
Yeah, because you know what? Now that Brett's in the business, I'm not going to get his referrals to his friends anymore. He's going to get them all. So I need my own customers. The kid has sent me a lot of business. Anyway, my cell phone is 507-259-4926.
Great. And I guess we'll chat again next week.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Robin. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM at 96.9 FM.